Tip, Black Pile. It's your brother Shaka saying Cole for here today. Today I'm giving honors and Black Pile and the whole tip to our Chief of Staff, brother Harris Abdul, who made his ascension a couple of months ago. And that's what I'm repping New York, for brother Harris Abdul. May he continue to provide me and provide our people with power and energy to keep the fight going for our liberation and salvation in this struggling black nation at this day and age and time. What I want to talk about is this panhandling piece that seems to be taking the DC area by storm in terms of our young brothers and some sisters, but primarily our young brothers, young and the elderly, but primarily our young brothers who stand out front of these stores and, beg for change day in and day out. I mean, it runs rampant all over DC. Any store you go into, it's a 95% chance you'll see a young brother, a black male out there, asking for change. A couple of issues I got with that. Number one, and I do give out an enormous amount of currency to my struggling brothers. Don't get me wrong. I do that every single day. However, I've came to the conclusion that if I got on, it don't make sense to me if I have on a pair of $30 tennis shoes and the guy that's asking for change has a pair of Nike boots on, which cost well over $100, or some Air Jordans or some LeBrons on. You get no change from me, no more. Because there's no way that you sit there with $200 shoes on asking for change from somebody with $30 shoes on. It don't make sense. And that's just a clear indication that, you just trying to get high. In which if you've gotten to the point where you're out there begging for change, you need to enter some type of drug or rehabilitation program to, to get back on your feet or to gain some type of sanity so you can plug back in and be, a asset to the black community instead of a liability. Personally, I wouldn't stand out there and beg for no motherfucking change. I'll get me a fucking ride and I'll run in one of these motherfucking stores and snatch a whole bunch of shit out Macy's or Nordstrom's or whatever, snatch a whole rack of shit and get me a couple of $1,000. Besides standing out there panhandling, bumming fucking change, turning into a bum. And to me, that's a sign of weakness. That's a sign of fucking fear. That you afraid to go out there and take some money from this motherfucking cracker. But you'd rather bag and then, get smart and buck on your own motherfucking people because they don't give you their change off their hard-earned motherfucking money that they work for. And, the majority of our people, don't make enough, barely make enough to make ends meet. And then they, and a lot of our brothers and sisters, they have children, they have grandchildren. A lot of them take their pennies and change and nickels, and put them in banks and store them for their children and grandchildren's college trust fund or whatever. And you out there and you want, you don't have any conscience. You don't give a fuck. You just want, some change. You'll take from them, take out a children's college fund, to get some goddamn weed or some K2 or some fucking PCP or some alcohol or some heroin. you know. And that's some trifling shit. Stop being scared and being so fucking weak, you know, and go out here and get some motherfucking money. Go take from them goddamn crackers. They got Nordstrom's, they got Macy's, Walmart, all types of motherfucking stores. You got fucking Best Buy, you know, all that, man. I know before I get to that level where I'm begging for change in front of a store, one of these cracker stores gonna be in deep trouble. It's gonna be a goddamn scene today, if need be. Cause I'll go on Best Buy, you know, and snatch every motherfucking electronic that I could possibly grab and hit the goddamn door. And anybody that's in the way, you know, that's your ass. You know, cause I'm coming out that motherfucking store, you know. So I've done it before, so it's no big deal. You know, but that bagging and standing out there in front of these goddamn 7-Elevens and all these stores, you know, with a fucking cup, you know, bagging and, you know, that's some weak, dirty ass trifling shit. You know, and for those, you know, and I understand, you know, us as black men, we're at the bottom of the barrel. They're not hiring us. Yeah, it's a struggle in all those areas. You know, they don't want us in the workforce, especially heterosexual, strong alpha males, you know. And if you got any type of criminal history, it's extremely difficult for a real motherfucking soldier to gain employment, adequate employment at that. However, before I resort to begging for some motherfucking change, I'm going, you know, I'm getting me a ride, or I'm going to a motherfucking store and get some goddamn money, so I can get what I really need, you know, not what I want. And if you're out there panhandling for drugs and alcohol, wouldn't you think it'd be more logical for you to go get some motherfucking help? Just call the motherfucking call one of these programs, you know, they'll take you in, you know, and get off the street, you know, clean yourself up, you know, and then get back out, come back out here and you know, and try to plug in and try to make some things work in your life. Because at the rate you're going, this panhandling shit, you know, what's gonna come next? You're gonna be willing to turn tricks with other men to get high, which a lot of y'all already doing. You may not, you know, you may not be talking about it, but a lot of you doing it. Cause DC is full of motherfucking white, gay motherfucking old men, you know, that's willing, you know, that'll pay, you know, money for a young melanated boy, you know, to pile drive his motherfucking hemorrhoids, you know, and you know, and if you out there begging for change, ain't no telling what you do if somebody pull out a motherfucking yard. You know, so to avoid that, to be in that class of individuals, man, you know, my advice is to, you know, call the local rehab, you know, and explain to them what's going on. I'm homeless, you know, I'm out here panhandling, I'm fucked up, you know, I'm on this, I'm on that, you know, and I need some help. I want to put the pieces to my life back together again, you know. So, you know, that shit, man, you know, and it's becoming a nuisance, you know, and it's best to do that because these crackers are going to be, pretty soon they're going to start complaining, and then they're going to go downtown, and then they're going to pass a law that if you out here panhandling, you're going to be arrested. So why not get some help so you won't have to be, you know, all on TV, you know, with a hoodie on, pants hanging down, dirty motherfucking boxers on, you know, standing in front of the store talking about they not hiring. I can't get no job. You know, because and most of you don't give a fuck. Because if you have a motherfucking drug problem, you're not gonna work tasting pies at motherfucking Hostess. So, you know, there's no need to even come out your mouth and say some shit like that. You know. And there's some trifling shit. you know. And then, you know, how you think these sisters feel, man, when they see these brothers out here? And a lot of y'all went to school with some of these brothers, and see some of these brothers, don't get me wrong, and I know this personally for a fact, by working with youth, you know, for so many years, and continue still doing it, that a lot of you used to clown people and make fun of people who didn't have certain shoes on, who didn't have certain expensive attire on in school and or in the streets. You know, now you out there asking for change. You know. And what goes around comes around. But nevertheless, that's some trifling shit. You know. And you know, I wish we, you know, we would step our motherfucking game up in DC. You know, another issue I want to discuss as far as, you know, like I told you, I've been out in the streets talking to people, trying to, you know, create search teams and investigative units to go in different areas, just talk to individuals. But there's some some of you motherfuckers in DC are lazy, you're trifling, and you don't give a fuck about your brothers or sisters. You know, a lot of y'all get, you know, I've heard a whole bunch of different excuses and nasty, fucked up rationalizations. You know, I'm trying to get money right now, and fuck them bitches, and, you know, and till it hits your house. You know, a lot of you just worrying about eating, getting high, because DC is a city, man, where most of the melanated people are so engulfed in motherfucking drugs and alcohol. It's ridiculous. And they're getting younger and younger and younger. You know, and it's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame that crackers can come in this city, and I don't give a fuck what you house niggas and you bed wenches, what you house niggas and bed wenches, you know, say about all this negative shit about these children that are missing and shit, you know, and keep on trying to put blame on the parents and down, you know, these children. Of course, you know, it's a few of these children that have been disobedient and rebellious based on whatever the situations are or may be taking place in the home, you know, and then you may have some fucked up parents. Of course, you're going to have that. But that doesn't speak for all these sisters. It doesn't speak for all these sisters. You know, and for you to just classify them and put them in one category, and then you exclude your motherfucking children. You know, because what are you going to do when it happens to yours? When you get the phone call or when you can't get in touch and find out that your daughter's missing, and then you hear somebody come on the airways and social media and say that your motherfucking baby girl was a slut and she was trifling and the mother wasn't shit. She should have been on top of her game and all this. You know, how are you going to respond to that? See, you don't like that. So don't go on social media just to be seen. Because a couple of y'all that did posted videos, your goddamn hair was nappy. You look like, you know, you didn't comb your motherfucking hair. You know, yellow teeth and all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Tits sagging and all that bullshit. You know, just to get on social media because you have access to it and everybody's entitled to, you know, get on social media. You know, but a lot of few of y'all just jumped in front of the camera. Like y'all just got out the goddamn bed, from the bed to the motherfucking camera. You know, just so you can have something to say or try to create some hits so you can get a couple of motherfucking dollars. You know, but just think when it happens, or God forbid if it happens to one of your children. You know, you'll want the response of the city. And this city has done a poor goddamn job of responding to this epidemic, to this tragedy and this motherfucking diabolical scheme that is taking place in D.C. And it's not over. They're still doing this shit every night. They're still on the hunt. They're still on the hunt. And we're not responding like we should be. There are more crackers responding for our situation than we are. Because we too fat and we too goddamn high. That's the problem. That's one of the major problems. We stay too high off of motherfucking smoking water, K2, getting motherfucking drunk, want to go to strip clubs and all this shit, The response, we should all be in the streets, walking in the streets by the hundreds of thousands, demanding answers. But I bet you if Nicki Minaj, and Remy Ma had a motherfucking rap motherfucking duo, contest and all this shit at the Verizon Center, you motherfuckers, it'd be standing room only down there. Because that's the mindset that a lot of our people are in. Especially here in D.C. And I'm just going to tell it like it is. I'm born and raised here, been here all my life. Although I've traveled all over the country and outside of the country, I've never seen the mentality, this fucked up in Washington, D.C. There used to be so much conscious shit going on in D.C. So many stores, you used to hear a Farrakhan on loudspeakers and different stores and people on the corners building and, everybody had a lot of black pride. Now everybody's walking around, just comatose, confused, in a state of shock, bagging, killing each other, taking from each other, putting each other down. And are scared to death of the motherfucking police. Scared to death of the police. And a lot of y'all will say y'all not, but you are. I'll give you an example. Look your track record up. Look your street cred up. Look your record up. How many motherfucking crackers have you dealt with and fucked up or fucked over? And then you look at how many motherfuckers that look like you done fucked over and fucked up and even killed. The equations have no similarity at all. But you're not afraid of the police. I'll give you another example. If you weren't afraid of the police, we would be all in the street. The brothers would be in the street demanding that somebody do something about our queens. We would be tearing shit up. The only time we'll even think about doing some shit like that if it's something free involved. Like what happened in Baltimore with Freddie Gray. All they got out the whole deal was some body wash and some motherfucking Percocets out of CVS. Out of all that rioting and fucking over cars and all that shit. And right now, today, the Freddie Gray family is still in the motherfucking hood. They got the settlement money, riding around in a motherfucking brand new whip. And the house is still wide open like a crack house. Like it was before the loss of that brother. So in so many words, that brother sacrificed his life so other people can stay motherfucking high up there in the area in Baltimore where he lives at. Because the only place they fucked up was CVS. All they got was body wash, motherfucking Mark III razors, you know what I'm saying, and some motherfucking Percocets and some Vicodin from the motherfucking pharmacy. That was it. That was it. But at least they came out. Here in DC, the response is zero. Now, and don't get me wrong, that's not every single person in DC. I know a few conscious revolutionaries. I know a few warriors, gods and goddesses. Because, all over worldwide, it appears to be more sisters coming into consciousness than brothers. Because we gauge our success on what's in our pocket and what we got on our backs and what we're driving. Because you the nigga in DC, if you got a whip, a foreign whip, you got on Helly Hansen homosexual outfits, and you going to the club, making it rain, getting lap dances, from these strippers. And you got a pistol just in case somebody look like you say the wrong thing. You don't have it for the police. You don't have the hammer for the police. That's the last motherfucker that you want to see when you got your hammer. That's the last motherfucker you want to see. Got this shit totally backwards. That should be the first motherfucker that you gonna lay down if they get in your way. But you'll go on a high-speed car chase with a gun in your goddamn car. The police got one gun, you got one gun, and he's chasing you. Because you too afraid to hit the brakes and fire down his ass to get him off of you. So what you'll do, if you got a dummy or a flunky nigga riding with you, you'll tell him to take the charge. And if he don't take the charge, you get some goddamn fiends to jump him and beat him up because of your cowardness. Real disappointing time in Washington D.C. in terms of the response to these children being missing. Everybody else all over the world, all over the country, has responded. A lot of y'all that responded don't know what the fuck you talking about, because you don't know nothing about D.C. So a lot of you motherfuckers that went on social media talking about D.C. this, D.C. You don't know nothing about D.C. So you need to shut the fuck up for real. I ain't say D.C. had a whole bunch of punks, that won't fight or nothing. They just fighting the wrong people. You can get your ass tore off down here. Don't get it fucked up. But and that's my whole point. We'll fuck each other up, but we won't do nothing to the motherfucking police. Nothing. And I've seen it. I see it every day. I've seen how the response was to these children. That was enough for me. And Black Hotep and Black Pal, to all of you brothers and sisters that are willing to do some shit, that are doing some things, putting in work that's down here in DC, that's trying to make some changes. It's Hotep and Black Power to you, because it's only a handful of us. The rest of the people are comatose and they're asleep. But they won't have a problem Palm Sunday, buying a $300 motherfucking, pink 3-piece motherfucking suit and hat, or all white motherfucking suit. Looking like the fucking man from Glad to go to church on Palm Sunday and then on Easter. To celebrate some shit, that you don't know nothing about. And I'm gonna touch on that for a second. The average person that's supposed to be a staunch Christian don't know nothing about the Bible. And does it ever occur to you that it's about 5,000 or 6,000 characters in the Bible, and there's no physical evidence of none of them on this planet? No graves, no bones, no skeletons, or nothing of them people that were in the Bible. But the kings and queens of Kemet, their tombs and pyramids and everything are still here as evidence that the melanated people were here. But all those people that you read about in these motherfucking doctrines, there's no physical evidence of them ever being on the motherfucking planet. Not one. Not one. No graves, no tombs for Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. None of them. None of them. None of them. Amos, Obadiah, none of them. Cain and Abel, none of them. None of them. And that's a red flag should be in your head right there. That the slave master, and you've seen movie after movie after movie after movie, where the slave master forces these doctrines. They forced them on our ancestors. They had to give up their African customs and traditions and their spiritual principles that they practiced prior to being captured and kidnapped and brought over here to these shores. They had to give those their ancient African principles and spiritual concepts up, and they were forced to accept this doctrine from some motherfucking King James, who was a white homosexual who was fucking his mother, then had her head cut off. You know, there was a pedophile. They used to roam through the palace when he ran out little boys to fuck. Him, Julius Caesar, all John Wycliffe, all these people that had something to do with creating this doctrine. And if you look in the history, you know, of the ecumenical councils meaning, you know, the local priests, scribes are like lawyers, you know, CPAs or whatever you want to call them, you know, clergy got together and they changed some of the wording in the Bible. They kept doing it. You had so many ecumenical councils, Council of Trent, Constantinople, Nicene, you know, it was so many of them, you know, for those who have some type of knowledge and have done some type of research into understanding exactly what I'm talking about. That's why it's so important to be conscious. You know, you're just believing in something that's just been passed down to you. And it is so powerful. Christianity is a drug. That religion is a drug because it can have you to the point where you be afraid to move away from that because you think you're going to get struck by lightning, that, you know, the boogeyman is going to get you and all this shit. You know, so, you know, and this is just one of the main reasons why our people are fucked up today. Because they don't know who they are. So, you know, once again, you know, this panhandling bullshit, you know, is some hobo ass trifling, you know, bum type, dirty ass trifling bum shit. You know, and then you can't expect to, you know, to receive a whole bunch of respect when you when you disrespecting yourself. You know, because some of you have children. And would you want your children to see you stand in front of 7-Eleven or Giant or Shoppers with a motherfucking beat up old ass McDonald's cup asking for change? Or at the traffic light? You know, do you ever think of how your parents or your relatives, you know, if they rolled past and saw you? We got to get together. I'm gonna be back with y'all shortly, and we're gonna discuss Henrietta Lacks and Oda Benga. Peace.